Columbus Day.
Yeah, welcome to Columbus Day. And by the way, today's opening pitch brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. And the Texas Rangers come firing out onto this field with a 1-0 lead. And Derek Holland, with that little mustache that he's been cultivating, is ready to go. And now magically he appears on the mound. Here's the Tigers starting lineup, brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bunt. Austin Jackson, Ramon Santiago slides up. And Delman Young is back. He is active because of the injury to Maglio Ordonez. So Young, bad oblique and all, is ready to go. Miguel Cabrera, their big threat, and right behind him, Victor Martinez with Rayburn, Peralta, Avila, and Inge to finish up the lineup that Derek Holland has to deal with. There are the numbers for Derek Holland. And I don't know, Terry, people around baseball, the casual fan, realizes that you're looking at somebody who was a 16-game winner and who threw 4 shutouts.
He has got electric stuff. You're right. Unless you've been around the American League following it, not everybody knows who he is. His stuff is good. I mean, he's going to touch 97 today. Breaking ball, slider that is an out pitch. Ball's moving all over the place. The biggest thing is he's got to limit damage and just put up single runs instead of multi-run innings.
And he can get a little emotional at times, and he needs to keep that in check. And now a little bit of a delay as I guess the fence is open or something, as Josh Hamilton, can't have that. 390 mark is askew. Home plate umpire today is who? It's Larry Vanover, working his second to NLCS. Or LCS, this being the ALCS. Jim Wolf is at first. Fielding Culbreth at second. Jeff Nelson at third. Tom Hallion down the left field line. And the crew chief is down the right field line. That's Tim Welke. Off we go. And a ball down and in. It'll be Austin Jackson, Ramon Santiago, and then Delman Young. Wouldn't the Tigers love to get a jolt of a start? Down 1-0 on this beautiful day in Texas. 95-mile-an-hour fastball. 1-1. Strike 2. You can see it's got a seam for Austin Jackson. Every time he looks up, there's 2 strikes.
And I think everybody knows, Jim Leland included, he's not your prototype leadoff hitter. But when he does get on, it makes their whole team different.
He struck out 3 times in game 1. And he takes the pitch up and away 2-2. 3 times in game 1, 11 times this postseason, 181 times during the regular year. 96 from a guy who really doesn't strike you as being that big. Holland is 6'2", 193, and it's a full count.
And when you see him in the tunnel there before the game, out of uniform, he looks like he's going from junior high to high school, doesn't he?
He does. He thought he was the bat boy. And he walks a leadoff man. Take a look at the defense behind Derek Holland. And it's Murphy, Hamilton, Cruz in the outfield. Same look as game 1 around the infield. Beltre, Elvis at shorty, and Kinsler at second. Mitch Moreland at first, and Napoli doing the catching for Derek Holland, who was a winner in game 2 of the division series against Tampa Bay. He and the Rangers fell down 3-0, but Texas had a 5-run 4th inning and won that game. Showing bunt. Santiago takes ball 1 down and away.
And not surprising at all. You know, Jim Leland loves the traditional number 2 hitter, kind of in the mold of Carlos Guillen, Placido Polanco. Play for a run, not let Texas score first.
The 1-0. So after getting Jackson into the hole 1-2, Holland has not been able to throw a strike, and the count's 2-0 on a guy that's giving an out. With Delman Young on deck.
And they've all been fastballs, and they're all missing on the arm side. It's not like he's mixing his breaking ball or anything. He's just having trouble getting that fastball where he wants it.
And he finds the strike zone. It's 2-1. So now Santiago looks down. We'll see if the Tigers stick with the sacrifice, if they want to get a little more aggressive. Start the runner and let Santiago swing. Instead, a check on Jackson. That's on the outside corner, and it's 2-2.
Holland did a great job there freezing the runner at first because he wanted to go. And because he held the ball a little bit long enough, it kept him from running.
Jackson stole 22. He's at first. Was caught 5 times. Has 1 steal this postseason. It came against the Yankees. I'm just trying to keep Jackson close. Tigers were baseball's hottest team during the month of September. They beat the Yankees. They're down 1-0, and there's a base hit through the right side. Jackson will hold, and it's 2 on with nobody out for the Tigers, down a game. That'll bring in Delman Young, and for more on what he's dealing with his strained oblique, we go down to Ken Rosenthal.
Well, Joe, Jim Leyland said today that the injury is not the oblique. And what he meant by that was that it's not an injury to his external oblique. That's the one that's much more problematic for a hitter. It affects the rotation of your torso. This is to the internal oblique. That's more abdominal, and it actually affects his throwing more than his hitting.
You know, watching him in batting practice, that looks like it's correct. He was swinging the bat great. Watching him in the outfield, looked like he was a little bit tentative in left field.
He popped 3 home runs against the Yankees in the division series, 2 to right. Ball jumps out of this park into right, and there's a strike over the inside corner.
He must be hurting a little bit. I've never seen him take a strike 1.
He's a little more patient.
He's usually swinging on the odd deck circle.
Here is an 0-1 with 2 on, nobody out. Late swing and strike 2.
Having him in the lineup completely changes their lineup, though. It gives them a much thicker, deeper look.
Off the hands and out of play.
Well, they can bump Victor back and Cabrera back in the order to 4-5 where Jim Leyland's comfortable. It just lengthens out the lineup and makes more work for the pitcher.
As opposed to game 1, when without Delman Young, they had Cabrera move up to 3rd, Victor Martinez 4th, and then the lineup dropped off. Another 0-2 from Derek Holland. On the way. Little pop-up on the infield. Infield fly rule in effect, and that's out number 1. So Young is gone, and the batter will be Miguel Cabrera. So on that last pitch, whether it doesn't bother him swinging because of the oblique or not, he popped it up in a key spot. Runners stay put, and Miguel Cabrera stands in. 4 for 18 this postseason, went 1 for 3 in game 1. Strike 1.
And you saw how aggressive Cabrera was right there. This is a situation that Detroit wants so bad where they have to pitch to him. No runner, no bases are open. They've got to pitch to him and get him out.
The 0-1. Off the hand, strike 2. And Holland has come right after Cabrera. On deck is Victor Martinez. These were the top 2 guys during the regular season, batting with runners in scoring position. Martinez was 1, Cabrera 2, right behind him at 388. Martinez at 394. High and tight, ball one.
What a good aggressive pitch, though. That might be a ball, but that's going to earn him that outside part of the plate later on.
See if Holland goes right to that spot. Back inside, and Cabrera hooks it foul. Derek Holland was part of a group of starters for the Rangers. It totaled 43 wins. Ogando, who took over when Tommy Hunter went down, and then Harrison, who's going to pitch in Game 4. So Matt Harrison, Alexi Ogando, and this guy, Derek Holland, 43 wins behind their top two. And now a visit from Napoli out to Holland with that runner, Austin Jackson, who's been at second watching these signs
for a long time. And that's why you see pitchers or catchers go out so often. They may want to throw a pitch here without even putting the sign down.
See if they flash a sign or not. No sign, and a weak ground ball to the right side. That'll be out number 2, and the runners advance. However, first base is open. Victor Martinez coming up. 2 out in the inning. Will they pitch to Martinez, who drove in 103 during the regular season? Terry Francona, would you pitch to Victor Martinez right here?
First inning, you have to pitch to him. You don't have to pitch to him. I think managers are very reluctant to walk people early in the game, but you're going to see how they face him and if they give him something legitimate to hit. This is why Victor's so valuable. He can go get a pitch. You can try to pitch around him. He can go reach a pitch and hit it somewhere. That he's just that type of hitter. He can hit good pitching and he can hit balls.
And again, within what you said, they can not intentionally walk him, but they can try and in essence pitch around him.
I think this at bat is going to show a lot to how they feel for the not only this game but for the rest of the series.
Behind him is Ryan Rayburn. They come after Victor Martinez. 76-mile-an-hour pitch is fouled, and the count 1-1.
I mean, we're seeing a guy that's been throwing almost exclusively fastballs in the middle 90s. Now he's got the open base. He's going to his off-speed pitch.
A walk, a hit started the inning, but a pop-up, a ground out. And now a 1-1 pitch is hammered foul. Strike 2. Holland's got the crowd behind him. 2 strikes on this hitter. Victor Martinez would love to see another strike and take a hack. Up and in, 2-2.
That was a lot better pitch than the pitch before. The fastball before caught way too much of the plate. You're heading to count 1-2. And you're giving one of the most dangerous hitters too much of a chance of doing some damage.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting sucked back into the middle of the plate.
Exactly. He's got that open base. He needs to use it right now to his advantage.
Off the end of the bat. Martinez way out in front, and the Tigers miss a first inning chance. A walk, a hit, and then 3 big bats taken care of by Holland. After a half at Arlington, no score. And there are times where this battery has to work awfully tough to guide Max through a lineup. But he's got overpowering stuff. See that full follow through, 91 for strike 1.
And he's got some arm action that gives a lot of deception to his pitches. He almost throws right out of his jersey.
Off the hands and a quiet first out as Santiago hauls it in. Let's take a look at that delivery for Scherzer.
And the hitter's getting the same look as we are. You just don't pick up the ball right away. And most pitchers like this are sinking the ball, you know, throwing 88, 89. This guy's a power pitcher.
Power spitter, too. He just demonstrated.
I like that.
Right up your alley. 1 out, nobody on for Elvis Andrus, who was 0 for 4 in game 1 and is 2 out of 18 in this postseason. Strike 1. Now Scherzer was a part of that big deal with 3 teams, a lot of talent swirling around and ending up in new spots, and it was Scherzer who was a part of the Diamondbacks, who ended up in Detroit, the Granderson deal. So Koch was a part of that. Schlereth counts 0-2.
And there's not a lot of in between with Scherzer. I'm sure the Tigers are thrilled with what they're seeing early on because he's pumping strikes, just like we spoke about that he wasn't.
He's better than his warm-ups. Parkway Central High School in St. Louis. And a former first-round draft pick of the Arizona Diamondbacks. That bounces in, ball 1. There's Dave Dombrowski, who was busy not just putting this team together this year, but within the year, and the acquisitions he made. Delman Young, one of them, who we've talked a lot about. That's into center for a base hit. The other piece that he added, Doug Fister, who will get the ball in game 3 in Detroit. And a winner in game 5 of the division series at Yankee Stadium. The defense for Detroit. Young, Jackson, Rayburn in the outfield with Inge, Peralta, Santiago, Miguel Cabrera around the infield. And Avila doing the catching for Scherzer. 1 on 1 out for Josh Hamilton.
And this is where the game speeds up right now because Texas is going to look to run. They've got dangerous hitters up. He's going to have to slow this game down.
That takes the mask off the face of Avila. Strike 1. This is usually the part where Tim McCarver's cringing, sitting next to me watching a mask be knocked off a catcher's face.
Watching Avila walk through the clubhouse today, I'm sure that's just what he needed. He looked like he's caught 180 games.
He just looks worn out.
He does, and he's caught the majority of the games. He's done a great job, but he does. He was limping through that clubhouse.
The amazing thing is he was hot with the bat in the month of September, really the last 2 months of the season. Finished 8th in the American League in on-base percentage plus slugging percentage. That new OPS stat, but he is 1 for 20 this postseason, bothered by a bad knee, and all that work looks like it's starting to catch up to him. 1 on 1 out, the 0-1 pitch. He was leaning, and Andrus able to get back.
Just so many more things to think about right now with a fast base runner, a dangerous hitter, and that's how the game speeds up on young pitchers sometimes. Just they have to be able to control a running game but still execute a pitch against a very dangerous hitter.
In the air into left center field. Young on the run. Won't get there. All the way around to score is Elvis Andrus. And the Rangers strike first in game 2.
Andrews was going to score anyway, but if you watch on this throw, you can tell that he can't get anything behind the throw. He tried to spin and throw, and he just nurses it in. It looks like he was going to flip it to the center fielder, decided to throw it, but he was going to score anyway. But you can tell that he's got to think before he reacts.
That pitch was chin high to Josh Hamilton, and he drove the gap in left center. And now Michael Young, who hit .338, fouls it back and out of play. How about the pitch that Hamilton just hit?
If they talk about being able to climb the ladder, you better have a big ladder.
So strong, and last year's MVP gets his 3rd RBI of this postseason. It was the ALCS MVP against the Yankees. The 0-1. Young went up to get that one and flies it into center for Jackson, who made an error in game 1. 2 out. That'll bring in Adrian Beltre. If you're just joining this series and haven't been paying attention, Beltre had that 3-homer game, 6th to do it in postseason history. He did it in the clincher last Tuesday in St. Pete against Tampa Bay. Ball 1 down and away.
And early in the count, he's thinking to do one thing and one thing only, and that's hit that ball up by that scoreboard out there. As the count progresses and he gets late, he'll give in a little bit and hit the ball to right field, but not right now.
Big year last year with Boston, big year this year with Texas. That's on the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Listening to Michael Young talk about him today was fun. He says he doesn't show up to play the game, he shows up to beat you. That was a big compliment to him.
Yeah, Young said, you know, some guys just show up. Adrian Beltre shows up to win. And even with the issues that Michael Young had before spring training about how the offseason went, they've had no problem. And neither does Beltre with that pitch as he serves it into right. It's 2-0 on an RBI double.
He's just able to cover so much of the plate. You pitch him in, he can pull it for a home run. You go away with 94, and he rifles it into right field.
Fair to say you would have liked to have kept him around with the Red Sox.
And you know what? He's more important than just his numbers. Just because of the things Michael Young said. He's a pro's pro.
5-year, $80 million deal. And they squeezed a lot out of him in 2011. Now Napoli, who had a career year, takes down and away ball 1. So the Rangers have already done to Scherzer what the Yankees could not do in game 2 of the division series, when he went 6 innings, allowed no runs on 2 hits. Channing Napoli, the 1-0. Verlander, the starter in game 1. And Jim Leyland has stuck with his original plan, at least to this point, saying he will not come back early and work in game 4.
And he's pretty adamant about that.
That's on the corner. Verlander's never worked on short rest. The plan is for Justin to join us during the 3rd inning from down in the dugout. Something I know you as a manager would have loved. None of your guys would have done it.
At least not with a smile.
Back at all those guys. They don't talk to us. Here's a 2-1 pitch. On the outside corner, 2-2. Scherzer trying to get out of this without having to deal with Nelson Cruz. You talk about the depth of this lineup, something the Tigers don't have.
Even with the open base, you just feel like you have to face these hitters because the next guy up is just as dangerous.
The 2-2. Full count, and this has been a long inning now for Scherzer. After Holland threw 25 pitches in the top half, but got around hitting a walk. This will be the 19th pitch for Scherzer on 3-2. The 3-2. A strikeout ends the inning, but there was plenty of action. Tigers left 2. Rangers scored 2. On a leadoff walk, that's not easy to do, and now he misses high. With ball 1 to Ryan Rayburn, and in a matter of moments, we are going to show you a personality piece on Derek Holland that will change your world. I've never seen a starting pitcher give this much to the camera a couple of days before he pitches in a big playoff game.
He didn't seem nervous.
No. Maybe that's a good sign for the Rangers as that one misses up and in 2-1.
Such a huge inning after you score to go out and have that shutdown inning.
His control left him in the first inning, and now Rayburn went after a pitch that was up a bit, fouled it away 2-2. Rayburn, then Peralta hit 21 home runs during the regular season. And Avila, who's trying to find his stroke. He's 24 years old as Holland. Full count. Couldn't be a prettier day. It's cool here in Arlington. Off the hands, backing out of play. Maybe Derek was just excited about the fact that his birthday was coming up at the end of the week. He turned 24 yesterday.
They got one starter that's trying to get a date. And,
yeah.
They got some things working there. They could also throw hard.
3-2. They have gone after ball 4. He actually turned 25 on Sunday.
You know, they can be a little quirky, but when you're 25 and throw 95, they'll make you like them.
Oh yeah. You'd have no issue.
They can do whatever they want.
Tied for the most shutouts in the American League. And he walks the leadoff man for the second consecutive inning. This is how he acted way back when he was 24 years old. Ball into center, sending Hamilton back, and on the track he hauls it in. Had to recover as that ball carried a lot more than Hamilton was expecting. 1 out. There's more on Derek Holland. Kenny, enlighten us.
Well, Joe, he has an interesting pre-start ritual the night before he pitches. He watches the same part of the same film every time. The film is for love of the game. It's about a pitcher played by Kevin Costner who throws a perfect game in his last career start and actually is pitching for the Tigers. Now Holland sets the scene for himself. It's right up from the time he prepares for the game to the time the pitcher takes the mound, and then he visualizes himself taking over from there. He has never seen the film in its entirety, and he says he won't until he retires.
Well, he has that to look forward to.
think he has a crush on Kelly Preston.
I wonder if anybody's ruined the ending for him. There's a swinging strike on Avila, who just, as we mentioned, and this isn't picking, this guy has, yeah, how about that look? You think Kelly Preston's interested?
Avila did such a good job, especially the last couple months, of swinging at strikes and hitting the ball to left field, and he's kind of gone away from that early in this series and even in the last series.
Yeah, and I started to say it's easy to see why.
He's beat up. He's swinging at some balls he wouldn't normally swing, and he's seeing some tough left-handers too.
This is a left-handed dominated rotation for Texas. It's a rarity. They have their one righty, Colby Lewis, scheduled for Game 3 tomorrow night in Detroit. That's off the hands, down the line, and a foul ball. And I guess when you're 1 for 20, those balls drop foul instead of on the line.
But it's still a good approach. You know, he fought it off. He got jammed. He may even have broken his bat, but it's still a good approach.
Well, the bat has been confiscated by the bat boy, and now he's bringing it back. Avila's going, hey, what happened? All of a sudden, Wonder Boy was missing.
Yeah, he didn't break it, but he didn't have it either.
So the count 1-2.
That bat boy may be exhausted after making 2 trips out there.
Aggressive hitters, aggressive bat boys, and a little grounder out in front of the plate. You can see Avila just running down to first. He can't run very well at all. Down to second is Rayburn. 2 out.
Sure is fun though when we get a chance to visit with them prior to the game. You know, being on the other side for so long, you don't get to know these guys sometimes to listen to his personality.
Yeah, and I can tell just the way your face lights up around Avila, you like him.
And Doug Fister, that was a pleasure. Listen to that kid talk. He gets it. That was really fun.
Brandon Inge now with 2 out, runner at second. Tigers down by 2. And I've enjoyed our little chats with Jim Leland, who can be crusty from time to time, but he even had a little smile creep onto his face today when he was talking about Delman Young, or hey, if he can play, he can play. If he can't play, somebody else will play, and if they play, maybe they'll get a hit.
I think he relishes the spot they're in right now. People are viewing him as the underdog, and he can get intense.
Here is a 1-0. High 2-0. Inge hit 137 with runners in scoring position this year. That was lowest across the major leagues, and the Tigers are asking for a hit.
And to his credit, he went to AAA and played. You know, most veterans wouldn't do that.
Now the count 3-0, and a much bigger threat in Austin Jackson on deck.
But you're also making Brandon Inge a much bigger threat when you fall behind and he knows the fastball's coming.
On 4 straight. It's the second walk of the inning and the third of the game for Derek Holland. And now the tying runs are on. And Ron Washington doesn't have that same look as when they were scoring 2 in the bottom of the first and we were going to break.
That's when these pictures that he was mugging for aren't so cute. Two on, 2 out for Austin Jackson.
It is nice, though, for guys to show a little personality.
And he certainly has it.
So a little conference with himself as he gets ready to come set, getting the sign from Napoli. 2 on, 2 out. Ball 1 up. Up, up, up. And now Ron Washington, not Mike Maddox, is going to go talk to him. This will not be about mechanics.
I think this is Wash being aggravated right now. Wash almost pulled a hamstring getting to watch this.
So he walked out, he jogs back, and the count 1-0 on Austin Jackson, who popped 10 home runs during the regular season, drove home 45 and hit 249. Holland had him set up at 1-2 in the first and then walked him. Breaking ball is a strike.
So often pitchers are struggling with their command, can go to their secondary pitch or their off-speed pitch to find their arm slot. That's looked like he did right there.
Tigers need something from Austin Jackson. That's high. 95-mile-an-hour fastball, 2-1. The 2-1. 3-1, and everything has been up.
You know, he's barely throwing more strikes than balls, and he's not following the glove. You're right, and he's elevating. But the one saving grace for him is his stuff is electric, and he has a chance to get away with it. But if he continues like this, it's going to be difficult.
That'll load him up. 3 walks in the inning, 4 already in the game.
You're going to see that phone ring here in a minute.
Second baseman Ronaldo Santiago.
Mike Maddox jumps on it. We've got a couple of long relievers. One of them Scott Feldman. He might get the nod as we play here in the second, but for the Tigers it's Santiago who is trying to make these walks hurt Derek Holland. And it is Feldman getting loose. Santiago. Now the curveball is what he can get over, strike 1. That is up the middle. Kinsler makes the play. Got him to end the inning. What a play by Ian Kinsler. To his right, the flip for the out. He was out. The inning is over. 2-0.
He was right on it.
So Cruz leads it off and shoots one into right center field into the gap. One hops the wall. Nelson Cruz is getting hot. He homered in game 1 and he doubles to start the second here in game 2.
You know, we're talking to Ron Washington before the game, and he made the point that he may not hit in every game, but if he runs him out there every day, he's going to have a game where he carries his team.
He is already on top of the all-time postseason home run list in Texas Rangers history now. Obviously, with more games, divisional round, LCS, there's more opportunity, although the LCS has been around since the Rangers have been here in Texas. But still 7 home runs in the postseason, and he got number 7 on Saturday night.
And they continue to throw him that first pitch fastball.
That's on the inside corner to David Murphy. We give you our E-Trade stock watch. Nelson Cruz, that's what he did in game 1, and he's now standing at second with a double. Michael Young, hard to believe. I mean, this is one of the game's best hitters, period, is 2 for 19 this postseason. He'll be on the other side of that graphic before too long.
Yes, he will. That's
off the end of the bat into shallow center, and out goes Santiago. Peralta and he come together, and Peralta makes the catch. 1 out. The taller guy makes the play.
And that's where they need him to pull the ball, and at least if he makes it out, make it productive out and move the runner.
Instead, Moreland bats with a runner at second, 1 out. Had a hit in game 1. 2 for 13 this postseason. Did go deep against Tampa Bay in the divisional series.
Such an intriguing young hitter. You know, his power just hasn't found its way to the game completely yet. He has 16 home runs. There's a lot more in there.
Nice block by Avila. Alex, who grew up in this game. Full name is Alexander Thomas Avila. First name after Al Campanis. Middle name after Tommy Lasorda. His dad Al is the assistant GM with Detroit. Ralph Avila in the Dodgers organization, and he was the one that found all that talent in the Dominican. As Moreland is out in front and pulls strike one foul. Pedro, Ramon Martinez, Raul Mondesi in that Dominican Academy. And so Avila's grown up around this game, and boy, has he blossomed here in 2011, an all-star. He's trying to help guide Scherzer around that leadoff double.
And you can tell he grew up around the game just when you visit him, even for a couple minutes.
Here's a 1-1. Ball 2.
Now he threw a good fastball into the lefty there, but he hasn't been able to duplicate that. He goes in once, and it's more for effect. And now the left-hand hitters know they can sit out away from the plate, whether it's fastball or changeup, and that's why he's struggling with left-handers.
The 2-1. That's on the outside corner, away from the hitter Moreland, and the count 2-2. So you were looking for it, but Moreland was not.
It's a pretty good pitch, and maybe it's off the plate, but it's still a good pitch. But my point is they don't have to respect in as much as they probably should with a pitcher of his stuff. He's going to have to prove it to him that he can come in and come in again.
Not only was Scherzer good in that game 2 start, but then he gave an inning and 2/3 of relief, shutout relief in the clincher game 5 at Yankee Stadium. A 3-2 win that happened on Thursday night. The 2-2. Back inside, he misses. Full count.
And Jim Leland, they didn't even know if he was going to be able to pitch today. They had him thrown out to 90 feet just to see what his comfort level was.
Well, that rain out helped him by getting him an extra day's rest.
I think Jim Leland felt like that rain helped them a lot more than people were led to believe.
Well, that's only as good as Scherzer pitches. He gave up 2 runs in the first, a leadoff double here in the second, got a big pop-up. Now is about to bring home a 3-2 to Moreland. Got the outside corner, 2 out. And a big strikeout for Scherzer. Moreland thought he had walked.
He did walk. Look at that, with that 2-seam movement, and you get 3, 4, 5 inches off the plate, good luck.
Home plate umpire is Larry Vanover, and he seems willing to give side to side in this strike zone today.
I think I've told Larry that a few times. He can't yell at me today.
Runner at second, 2 out. Strike one. Is he known as a pitcher's umpire?
He'll give on the away side of the plate. He'll give 3, 4 inches. And again, as long as they're consistent, I think that's what hitters generally look for. But then you look at that 2-seam movement to go along with it. That ball's probably not hittable.
Kinsler's trying to rescue that leadoff double and turn it into damage. Runner at second, 2 out. And now 2 strikes on Ian Kinsler, who popped up his first time. Two 30-30 seasons for Kinsler, as we mentioned in game 1, and he's only the third second baseman to have a 30+ home run season, 100+, 120+ RBIs, runs rather, and he joins Chase Utley and Rogers Hornsby on that list. In the postseason, he has been tough to retire. Runner at second, 2 out. That's down the right field line, but into the seats as he kept slicing. Still 0-2. Celebrate America's Game with Chevrolet. Upload a picture of your youth player. You could win tickets to this postseason among hundreds of other MLB prizes. Be a part of the Chevy Centennial Celebration and enter to win at ChevyBaseball.com.
You know, he's got that uppercut swing, but he still manages to fight that ball off the right field, and not just fight it off, but hit it with authority that way.
Blocked by Avila. 1-2. Scherzer, a guy who was sent out to the minor leagues last year trying to get his control and his stuff in order, and he came back, finished last year hot, and won 15 games, tied for 10th most in the AL this season. Here's a 1-2.
Boy, Kinsler can extend some at-bats. You get him in the hole, and you think you got him in a place where you want him, and he still continues to put strong swings.
Yeah, and that's impressive for a guy who has to be considered a power hitter with 32 home runs.
I think this kid's quietly one of the best players in the game.
You had a pretty good one in Boston in Dustin Pedroia.
He's just not likable enough, though, is he?
No. Pedroia, no. Dustin is critiquing your every comment up here in the booth, and thank God for texting so you can hear it all.
I don't think there's a baseball game that's ever been played or on TV that he doesn't watch. He's about as much of a pleasure as you can ever run into.
And loves the game.
He loves the game.
1 ball, 2 strikes on the Texas second baseman. Runner at second, 2 out. Into right. Back to grab it for the out is Rayburn, and the inning is over. Nice job by Scherzer to get around that leadoff double. Some images from around this beautiful stadium. Young is first up, dealing with Derek Holland, who misses up. Derek is one of 3 left-handers in the postseason rotation for the Rangers. They're led by their ace C.J. Wilson, who is in the corner of the dugout and kind enough to join us in a 2-0 game, top of the 3rd inning. CJ won 16 games. You step to the front of this rotation, and I know you have to be a little frustrated with what we've seen so far this postseason.
You know, not myself, but it's a weird thing. You know, it's not in your playbook. You think about what do I do if it's raining and how to get a grip on the ball or whatever, but when you have to come off and for 45 minutes or whatever, it's a little bit different. So I had some adjustments that I should have made, and I wasn't able to. It was frustrating, but we ended up, holding that lead, and that's all that matters.
It's got to be frustrating for you guys in the dugout to watch Derek miss highs so much so far in this game.
You know, it's okay. Derek's got such a good fastball. He can get away with a lot of mistakes up and out of the zone as long as he's not up in the zone. Him and I had a little talk in between innings, and I just told him, that he's keeping their hitters off balance for one reason or another. So he's just got to mix and, try to visualize that low strike. That's really where we make our money in the big leagues, is down.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Holland dealing with Delman Young, and he goes up to get it. Shoots it into right. And the catch made by Nelson Cruz. 1 out. CJ, what do you guys think of this little stash that Derek Collins got working on his face.
Well, it's not a big stash, I'll tell you that. He's been working on that for, I don't know, maybe 2 months or 2.5, 3 months. It's,
Seriously.
It's like since a trading deadline at least. So we acquired that back then. You know, it's funny because I remember being 24. I couldn't grow a mustache either, really. So now I look like a pirate after 9 days. So it's kind of funny.
Here is Cabrera. How do you like facing this guy?
I love it. Miguel's actually one of my favorite competitors in all of baseball. He's always happy. He's always talking smack. He's looking over here from the dugout, like, you know, if he dropped that pickoff throw earlier and we're yelling rock hands at him and stuff. It's great. He's a good dude.
Here's a pitch that misses down and in. The count is 2-0. You guys seem to have fun, not just with your rotation, but in general, you guys keep it pretty loose down there.
You have to, man. It's such a long season, and there's a lot of stresses that come along with the game. You know, there's a lot of pressure, obviously, from the outside, whether it's your family or your friends or, you know, the fans and obviously all the media stuff. So we have to feel like we're our own little family, and if something pops up in a negative way, then we're able to quash it in interior because, you know, we're all in it together. And it's really a good feeling to know that you got, you know, 25 guys on your roster that love you like a brother.
Here's a shot into center field. It sounded good off the bat. This ball is off the wall. Hamilton got a little too close, and it's a double with 1 out for Miguel Cabrera. And CJ will let you go with this. Are you going to tweet about this experience at some point during the rest of the day?
It's possible, but obviously not during the game. We have rules against that.
Yeah.
I'm lucky. We're lucky that it's October right now because that ball's out of here in July.
Seriously?
Yeah, easy.
I mean, it carries like crazy out here to right, doesn't it?
Well, you can see the flags right now are limp, but, you know, usually when we get a little bit of a stiff breeze and it swirls through here, Terry can tell you he's probably seen some balls carry over that bullpen wall that are a little bit cheap sometimes, but that's just the nature of the beast. That's why we get the long infield grass to get those double play balls.
CJ, we appreciate it. Thanks for joining us, and good luck next time up.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right. CJ Wilson, who was a leader of this staff and a 16-game winner during the regular season. Now the batter after the double by Cabrera is Victor Martinez, and he takes a strike.
He makes a good point about this ballpark in the summer. The balls carry so well to all directions. And he's probably right. That ball probably was a home run in July.
Well, it sounded good coming off his bat, I'll tell you that.
It looks good, doesn't it? His balance is amazing.
He's still just 28. He seems like he's been around forever. Fouled back. He really made his big splash in 03 when the Marlins won it all and was moved to Detroit from Florida in 2008.
You know, everybody talks about his weight fluctuating and this and that. One year he hits 330, the next year he hits 340. I don't think it matters how much he weighs. And CJ was right. He loves to play the game. He has a lot of fun playing it.
Here is an 0-2. Victor Martinez spoils it. Well, for Miguel Cabrera, it hasn't all been great. He was arrested, suspicion of DUI in Florida, beginning of spring training, and it was his second alcohol-related incident within 17 months. That has been put away, and since that incident at the beginning of spring training, seemingly has not been an issue. The 0-2 is fouled back and out of play. We have a former Major League outfielder, Raul Gonzalez, who is Miguel Cabrera's shadow in and around the stadium, away from the stadium, like Johnny Narin is for Josh Hamilton, who's had his own issues. Center fielder for the Texas Rangers. The 0-2. Down and in, ball 1.
Well, Victor's hitting in the hole here, but he lets the ball travel so much, and he gets such a good look at it that he still gives himself such a good chance to have success, even though he's in the hole.
Letting it travel, meaning getting deep.
Letting it get deep and getting a good look at it, not committing. So he's out in front of a breaking ball. He's getting on top of the fastball.
The 1-2. That caught him on the foot. It's a dead ball. It's a dead ball. Martinez will go down to first base. The home plate umpire said immediately that the ball hit the batter. And Ron Washington's going to come out and say, hey, what's going on?
Well, they're calling Victor back.
And Napoli didn't even chase it because he believed that the ball hit the batter, which would have been a dead ball. And first and second with one out. I think it might have missed him. No, he was appealing. The home plate umpire was appealing. And Napoli, I think, thought the ball had hit the batter, and he didn't even go after it.
This is going to be interesting. They're bringing in umpires from the outfield. Did it hit his pants?
If it hits his pants, it's hit by pitch and would be a dead ball. Looked like his pants may have moved. But this, I agree with you. This is going to be an interesting call to see if they bring Cabrera all the way back.
You got both managers in the ready position.
Tim Welke is in the back of that conversation doing the majority of the talking. He's the crew chief, but he's out in right field. And they're going to bring Cabrera back to second. Now Leland will have his set. It'll be first and second, one out, still a 2-0 game, and Jim Leland wants to talk to Welke, the crew chief. Here it is again. See it? Napoli didn't really go after it, and that allowed Cabrera to score all the way from second base. The pants may have moved, and again, it's just too hard to tell.
But it looks like it hit his pants. How do you fault an umpire when they have a split second to get it right, and we've looked at it 7 times and we don't know?
Here it is again, regular speed, and this was what they're going on.
But Victor Bond sold it a little bit also. I mean, and umpires go on that.
I mean, if Victor doesn't sell it, then maybe you're looking at a different outcome, because Victor is in essence saying it hit me by going down to first base.
Now, but the umpire right away, checked to see if we got a swing.
Well, Leland's going to have his say, and he will walk away hot.
He's yelling at everybody. And he may be saying with 2 strikes on an appeal, the first base umpire isn't supposed to wait. He's supposed to make the call and not wait for the home plate umpire to ask. That might be part of his point here.
So Jim Leland has had his say. We've looked at it a number of times. I'm sure we'll look at it again to see if that ball hit the pant leg of Victor Martinez. He went down to first as if he was hit. Miguel Cabrera kept running, and initially they were going to allow the run.
How do you tell?
But they overturned the call and brought Cabrera back, and now a strike is in to Rayburn. So it'll go down as a hit batsman. To put 2 on with 1 out. And boy, Holland has been in the middle of trouble every inning. And he's right back in it. Rayburn walked his first time, and now he's in the hole 0-2.
You know, I guess when you throw a breaking ball and you split the uprights of somebody's legs, you got to expect something bad to happen.
Today, 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position are the Tigers. Rayburn could come up with something big. Pretty good rip. And a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, still 0-2.
And here's where you see the difference in the 2 teams right now. You know, Texas, when they get on, they're going to push the envelope. They're going to run. and Detroit's going to have to get base hits or hit the ball in the ballpark because they just don't run the bases like the Rangers.
Cabrera the lead man with Martinez behind him. 1 out.
And as I say that, they check the runner.
Cabrera is probably flattered. Feldman getting loose again. Ball 1. Already up to 70 pitches because of the wildness here through the first 2+ innings. Well hit down the line. Back is Murphy at the wall. And it's a lead for Detroit, 3-2 on a 3-run shot by Ryan Rayburn.
And Jim Leland said Ryan Rayburn was the guy that could help be dangerous, sitting back there behind those 2 hitters in the middle and do some damage, and that's what he did.
It erases any conversation about the hit by pitch as Rayburn cleans the bases with a shot over the wall and left. Now it's Johnny Peralta as Holland finally has to pay for being wild. Hit Victor Martinez, got ahead of Rayburn, and then made one too good as Peralta takes ball 1 high.
You know, he actually followed the glove pretty well, just didn't quite get it in far enough.
That's on the inside corner. And the count 1-2.
Okay, you show major league hitters 75 pitches in 2 2/3, and it makes them more dangerous.
Tigers lead for the first time in this ALCS, and that's down the line. Peralta will try and push it to a double and make it. Third extra base hit of this inning, and Johnny Peralta, staring it down, turned it into 2. Just getting in ahead of the tag of Ian Kinsler. And another good call by Field and Culbreth, at least initially, see if he stayed on the bag. And it's a double. Put another run in scoring position, and Holland will last at least one more batter with the left-handed hitting of Avila coming up.
Well, that's super slow-mo something, isn't it? Our company's really something.
But now you're a Fox guy. I'm going to remind you of that wherever you are next. Runner at second, 1 out. 3 runs are home on a Ryan Rayburn postseason home run. He hit 14 during the regular season. Avila, a slow roller to Kinsler, who has plenty of time. 2 out. And over to third goes Peralta. And that's it. With Inge coming up, Ron Washington is going to his bullpen. And Holland with the 4 walks. A hit batsman, 3 extra base hits in this inning, is finished. Feldman coming in, and Terry, to make you proud, your company Fox with the super slow-mo on the double by Peralta. Tigers have a 3rd inning lead. Walked his first time up, and Holland did not have a good start. 2 2/3 so far. 3 runs on 4 hits, 4 walks, no strikeouts, a hit batter, and a home run. But it was his inability to get ahead of hitters that did him in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Looking for a 2-out RBI hit from Brandon Inge. Drove home 23 runs during the regular season. should end the inning. Kinsler makes the play, and that's it. But a productive inning for Detroit, their first lead of this ALCS. Out of the hand of Holland, off the bat of Rayburn, and over the wall and left. 3-2 Tigers after 2.5. Now Tigers with the lead, 3-2. So Scherzer gets the chance to work from in front, and Elvis Andrus is first up. It'll be Elvis, then Josh Hamilton, then Michael Young. Here's the 0-1. And that is a rocket into center. But back to get it is Austin Jackson on the move, 1 out. And like we talked with C.J. Wilson of the Rangers in the effort to be fair and balanced, we go to the end of the other dugout and check in with the game's best. Justin Verlander, thanks for doing this.
Not a problem, guys. Glad to be on.
Let's say this first. How's the mood down there with your first lead of this series now?
The mood's pretty good. You know, we're always a confident team, and you know, somebody's going to come through for us. We knew it was only a matter of time, so hopefully that got us off on the right track and we continue going.
Justin, I heard you earlier in the year around the All-Star break. You were kind of touting your catcher. It looked like you had some genuine affection and some admiration for him.
Absolutely. You know, come All-Star weekend or around that time, you know, he was second in the voting, and I honestly believed he should have been first and the starting catcher for the American League All-Star game. And I did everything I could and plugged for him and talked about him, and you know, thankfully got him there, and well-deservedly so. You looked at his numbers and everything, and you know, in my opinion, he was the best catcher in the game at that point, and still is. So. You know, I was just glad I could help him.
How much politicking did you do the other night to try and come back in after the rain delays?
Did a little bit. You know, obviously I talked to Skip some and tried to get in his ear a little bit, but you know, whenever my number's called, I'm ready to go. I'm preparing either way. I'm preparing for either game 4 or game 5, whichever time my number's called, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, and there's no mystery there. I mean, you've said you want to pitch. Your manager, who's been around the block 4 or 5 times, says I want him in game 5, and that's kind of where it has to stay.
Yeah, you know, the division series, he got a lot of flack for not pitching me out of the bullpen in game 5, and that seemed to work out pretty good. So he's got a pretty good idea what he's doing, and I trust him.
But after this long season, with all those pitches, you throw more pitches than anybody in this game, and you seem somehow to get stronger as the game goes on. You feel good.
Yeah, you know, I feel good, and this is what I prepare for all season long. This is why I work so hard in the off season for this time of year. You know, unfortunately, we haven't been here in the past 5 years, you know, but I learned a lot from 2006 and how I need to prepare myself to be strong at this time.
Well, you're a good representative of a great team, and we certainly appreciate you joining us. Thank you, Justin.
No problem, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All right.
Count is 2-1 on Michael Young after Hamilton flied out to left. With 2 out, nobody on. It's off the end of the bat. And coming in to get it is Austin Jackson. See, those dugout interviews aren't so bad with players, Terry. Don't laugh.
Especially the guy that throws 97.
I want you to say they're not that bad. Say it.
I don't think they're that bad now.
Mark that tape. 3-2 Tigers after 3. On Austin Jackson. Stand up for someone you love. Visit standuptocancer.org/Fox Sports to learn more. Jackson has walked twice. In the hole here, 0-2. Ball 1 up. See some hockey style playoff beards on the part of some of these players. Michael Young, the designated hitter, and Feldman. We saw what Derek Holland's been trying to do for a couple of months. Here's a 1-2. Just off the inside corner, 2-2.
Every pitch Feldman throws has got movement to it, whether it's in right there or away or a slow breaking ball. Nothing straight.
Left side for Beltre. Got that high hop. Gets the out. And now today's Get to a Better State recap, brought to you by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. Saturday night, just before the second rain delay, Ordonez was walked to load the bases. Then after the rain delay, Michael Gonzalez comes in and gets Avila to swing it. The pitch that was up on a 1-0 count and ground out to end the threat in what was a one-run game, and it ended 3-2 Texas.
We're talking to Jim Leland today.
Here's Santiago, ball one.
And he was kind of voicing what we were talking about. The count's 1-0. You got a tough lefty. You maybe hope your guy will take, but you don't want to give him the take.
With one out, nobody on, that's foul. Well, you were saying it in the booth. A.J. Pierzynski was saying it on the set that you bring a guy in who in the past has had control issues. Then we talked to Ron Washington, and he said, I went out there during the month of September, checked on him on the mound one time, another foul ball, and I felt his shoulder to see if there was any tension in there, to see if he was being overwhelmed by the situation. He said, I felt none, and I have total confidence that he'll throw strikes.
And to bring him in that situation, it's pretty obvious he does.
Here's a 1-2. Got him looking, 2 out.
I just think as a left-hand hitter, you got a better chance in that situation to let him work his way behind in the count. But the saying that as a hitter and a guy with that much deception, you don't want to fall behind either.
And you like what Feldman's doing here since he's come in.
He's going to throw strikes. He's going to move the ball, and he gives them a legitimate chance to get deeper into the game.
He's their long guy. They haven't needed him.
You know, with playing the 4 games in a row and you're getting into your bullpen this early, if he stumbles, it's going to cause a ripple effect throughout that whole bullpen.
2 out, nobody on. Delman Young is up on the count, 2-0. If you're just joining us, it's what Terry pointed out in our on camera prior to the game, that well, it's an advantage with that rain out last night for Texas in game 2 today. Now you're playing 4 in a row with 3 coming up in Detroit, and that could work against that big Alexi Ogando factor that Ron Washington has in his bullpen. The 3-0. 3-1.
They want to use Ogando all over the place. That's kind of their wild card. But if they use him one night, it's going to be very difficult to use him the next night, I think, at all, let alone for some length.
That's into center field and will carry to Hamilton to end the inning. Good work by Feldman. And with Pulley and Nelson Cruz to follow, and that wasn't as close as.
Watch this swing.
What do you think? Feeble or hard? You can't wait.
Hard.
Okay.
There's no fear there.
1 ball, 1 strike. RBI double. His first time up. Rangers got 2 in the first, did nothing with a leadoff double in the second, and now trailed 3-2 after a 3-run home run by Rayburn. Inge. 1 away. Well, sir, we've been in the booth now for 2 nights. You've settled right in and you feel good about things and you're smiling, so that's good. It's been fun having you.
Thank you. It's been nice having me here. Are you exhausted?
Yes.
Do a lot of babysitting?
Yes. Hey, tell us about this game. I mean, this thing turned with 1 swing, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, but you could kind of feel like maybe it would. He wasn't commanding enough, and with good hitters, you better start pounding the zone, and it caught up with him.
Talking about Derek Holland, who could not get through 3. The starter for the Rangers, 2 2/3, 3 runs, 4 hits, 4 walks, a hit batsman, and the home run. Feldman has restored order. Beltre has grounded out in the 4th, and now Napoli. Career high 30 home runs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Scherzer has settled in. Retired 7 straight after that leadoff double by Cruz in the second. Strike 2. Talk about a long year for Avila. A lot of work for Napoli, and both guys had terrific years swinging the bat. A.J. Pierzynski is with us. Nobody's caught more innings across the big leagues than A.J. since 2003, so he knows what that kind of a workload will do by the end of the year as Napoli takes high 2-2. I mean, your legs have got to be worn out some, AJ, at this point, and that's got to affect your hitting, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Sometimes it's easier as a catcher when you go into the training room to ask, when they ask you what's sore, it's easier to tell them what's not sore at this point in the year because you're banged up from foul balls. And I told Alex Avila before the game, he takes more foul balls than any catcher I've ever seen in my whole life. There's another one.
There's one right off his glove, and that's just luck of the draw or what?
I don't know. I asked him if he sets up different than the rest of us because he takes him in the mask, off his glove, off his knees, and I know he's playing with a banged up knee right now. It's got to be tough for him to squat back there, and he's played I don't know how many games in a row here if you go back to September, because I remember at one point he was on 35 or 40 in a row.
Count is 2-2. We'll keep A.J. Pierzynski with us as Napoli waits for the next, and that's down and away.
Alex is a tough kid. Now you have to understand that they played a long time, especially the second half of the season, without another catcher because Victor Martinez was banged up also.
This was earlier when it hit that little side wing and just took the mask right off the face.
You can see it on his face. People always ask you, they always want to know how that feels, and I wish everyone could take one of those because they just don't understand that it doesn't so much hurt, but it definitely startles you and it gives you a good wake-up call.
Let me ask you this. Tim McCarver always talks about the toll catching takes on your hands too, and that has to directly affect holding the bat and swinging it.
Absolutely. That's the biggest thing is your hands, and mentally, that's what people don't realize is mentally, you as a catcher, you're in every single pitch. There is no hiding as a catcher. As a right fielder, as a left fielder, you might get 1 or 2 balls a game, but as a catcher, you're involved in every single pitch. The 130 that are thrown, you're putting down fingers, taking foul tips, the whole deal.
3-2 pitch to Napoli, and he got it by him. Good pitch by Scherzer. 96. That's as hard as he's thrown. And with 2 out, nobody on, the batter will be Nelson Cruz.
And AJ knows this more than anybody. Good catchers, they sacrifice at bats because they're babysitting that starting pitcher or a relief pitcher during the innings, even when they're up to hit. You know, not when they're catching. They lose at bats because they're trying to nurse them through innings.
I can't tell you, Terry, you have one of the best, obviously, in Veritek up in Boston for a long time, but how many times as a catcher you're leading off an inning and your mind is thinking about why you gave up a run the inning before, how you got out of the inning before, and you're not even thinking about how you got to try and get a hit.
Here is a one-hopper hit to Inge. Good job by Scherzer. Bangs his fist into his glove and walks off the field. Still 3-2 into the 5th. Game 2 back after this from your local Fox station. 6 hitters for Detroit. That means Cabrera, Martinez, Rayburn, who's got the biggest swing of this game. Certainly the biggest for Detroit to this point. 3-run shot to make it 3-2 Tigers back in the 3rd, and Cabrera, who has a double, a run scored, almost rode one out of here into right center. His last time up takes the ball. Look at the Rangers pitching, the starters and their numbers, and Ron Washington is dealing with big advantage in his bullpen in this series. They're good. There's some pieces out there for Detroit that's good, and heck, with all the attention paid to Texas and their bullpen in game 1, Detroit's was right there with them.
And I think that's what Jim Leland was trying to point out today. They about matched them inning for inning. There just wasn't the swing and miss, but they were certainly as efficient.
Here's a 1-1, a pop-up right side, foul ball, and out of play. Another thing Jim Leland said as we go down to Ken Rosenthal on the field. What did he tell you before today's game?
Well, Joe, I don't want to say that he called Ryan Rayburn's shot, but when we asked him which of his less prominent players was most likely to make an impact, his response was immediate: Rayburn. And the reason, he said, was his power.
And that has happened in this game. A 3-run shot in the 3rd inning. Check swing by Cabrera, and the count 2-2. The next from Feldman, inside, a full count. Time called by Cabrera, granted by Vanover, the home plate umpire, and this will be, could be, a dangerous pitch from Feldman to one of the game's best. On the outside corner, and instead of ball 4, it's strike 3. Mr. Francona, what were your thoughts live?
Live, I thought it was a ball. On tape, I thought it was a ball.
Now what do you think?
I think I disagree with Fox Track.
Hey, it's an unofficial look.
I still like the company.
Now you're bailing on Fox. You're learning quick. Victor Martinez stands in, hit by a pitch and scored on the home run by Rayburn. Strike 1. But again, it's Vanover giving the outside portion of the plate, maybe a little beyond, away from the hitter.
And it's a pitcher following the glove, and sometimes they deserve to be rewarded for that.
Here's an 0-1. A little high and tight.
There's the officially cutest kid in the American League.
What's his name?
Victor Jose Martinez. Look at him. I've never seen him without something to eat in his hand, though. That's the first time.
Here is a 1-1. And Victor Jose's dad is going to reach on what should be an error on Moreland. Shuffled to his right and missed it, and it's an error on Mitch, who committed 5 during the regular season.
It's a little Bill Buckner-esque.
I mean, he missed it altogether.
Yeah, he just flat out missed it.
And there's Victor Martinez's son.
He doesn't care if it's an error.
No.
You know, that was either because of an error or the hot dog guy was coming by.
1 on, 1 out, and the batter will be Rayburn. You have such a great relationship with that kid. You actually enjoyed a player's kid being around the team.
You know, Joe, we had a rule where the kids could come in the clubhouse.
Rayburn pops it up. Andrews back to grab it 2 out.
But if they did, they had to pop their head in my office and say hello. And with that kid, it was a pleasure.
And he is talented.
He can do it all. And he'll tell you, too. He'll tell you he's important.
Switch hitter, I hear, just like his dad.
He's the cutest kid I think I've ever seen. Look at him.
He's got an iPad in his lap.
I've never seen a 6-year-old be more comfortable in the clubhouse with just shower shoes and nothing else on.
1 on, 2 out. And the batter is Peralta, takes a pitch high for ball 1. Johnny doubled and was stranded. His double basically was the end of the road for Derek Holland. Although Holland lasted to get the lefty next, and that was it. Feldman came on, got Inge on a ground out to keep it 3-2, and it's still 3-2 now in the 5th.
Feldman's doing a terrific job right here. If he had a hiccup, this game was going to get tilted in a hurry. It's going to keep Texas's bullpen completely in line.
The 1-1. Broken back. Beltre does not make mistakes, and the inning is over. How about more little Victor Jose? Somebody's going to sign him soon. He hits righty. And he hits lefty. A double threat as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Double by Nelson Cruz. Murphy popped up. Moreland struck out. Kinsler flied to right. See how Scherzer is settled in. 0-2.
And that's a great pitch versus Murphy. If you don't make him stay honest with fastballs in, even though he's a little bit unorthodox, he can be so pesky if you don't keep him off that, keep him honest. He reaches out, the triple yesterday, he didn't have his legs under him, but he still hit a triple. But you bust him in, and now you can open up the rest of the plate.
Down and in, and Murphy stays alive. 0-2. Mentioned in game 1 that David is in the lineup because a right-hander is on the mound. He hit .299 against right-handed pitching this year, just .211 against lefties. The changeup misses in the dirt, ball 1. Ball 2. I mean, Scherzer gives everything he's got.
I think that's what you call max effort.
That's what you call Max Scherzer right there. Here's a 2-2. Pretty good rip by Murphy.
There's a lot of moving parts in that delivery, but I tell you what, he's throwing strikes.
Got him on the outside corner, and now Murphy will be disappointed with that outside edge.
If you put this Fox thing up, Fox tracks, it's going to be a ball.
To say the
that's
least.
a ball.
Instead, it's the 4th strikeout of the game for Scherzer, and you can see why Murphy was hot.
Why Murph had the long face?
Yeah. Here's Mitch Moreland. Give Scherzer credit for taking advantage of a wide strike zone.
Sure, he followed the glove, and the umpire's been giving it to him.
And that's really what Avila talked about. You went in this direction earlier. Guys going up, especially left-handed batters, he's noticed them at times look for pitches away, whether they're going to get a fastball or changeup. Eventually they'll get that changeup and they can hammer it.
Regardless of the speed of the pitch.
That's a good one in on the hands. Strike 2.
And that's what he was making his point. He needs to come in there and he needs to follow it up, and he can't just show it for effect. He's got to prove that he can throw a strike in there.
He's turned in another good one. He's been good this postseason for Detroit. That one rides away. Ball 1. Talked about that deal. The other piece of the puzzle was Ian Kennedy, former Yankee right-hander who had the big year leading the Arizona Diamondbacks into the postseason. That's way outside again. 2-2.
That three-way trade helped everybody.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the way it's supposed to be.
Granderson had a brilliant year for the Yankees. The 2-2. Here are the guys that moved around in that 3-team deal. Tigers get those 4 pieces. All are on the active roster for the postseason here. This was 2 off seasons ago. The Diamondbacks get Kennedy and Jackson. Yankees get Curtis Granderson, and that helped everyone.
That's win-win-win right there. Everybody's happy.
Edwin Jackson now pitching, I believe, tonight for the Cardinals in game 2 of their series against Milwaukee. That's up and away and swung on and missed. Strikeout number 5 for Scherzer. And the bases are empty with Kinsler coming up. Today's game summary is brought to you by Liberty Mutual. Rayburn with the 3-run shot in the 3rd. The Rangers, that's how they got their 2 in the 1st. And Scherzer has been better than Derek Holland. Good game yet again. And the Rangers are used to this. They've won 3 straight 1-run games in the postseason. Only the 1915 Red Sox won 4 straight 1-run games in the postseason.
Was Wakefield on that staff?
Wakefield was there.
I'm sure he loves that when I say that.
Those games 2 through 5. Caught by Inge. Hard hit by Kinsler. Inge made the lunging grab. And we go into the 6th inning. Here in game 2. Detroit on top by 1. Not a hit until right now, as Avila is on to lead off the 6th inning with the Tigers up by 1. But while we play here tonight, it'll be fun to watch the Cardinals and the Brewers game 2 on TBS tonight at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. And then we're back at it tomorrow night in Detroit on the air at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. And what did the 2, 3, 4 hitters do in game 1 for Milwaukee against the Cardinals? Jaime Garcia was the starter, but they got everybody, and that tone was set with a Ryan Braun home run in the 1st inning that's still rolling. Ball is smoked. And then Prince Fielder did his thing, and it's been fun listening to Brian Anderson, Ron Darling, and of course John Smoltz have done a great job. And I think 3 of the 4 divisional series rounds went all 5 games.
A lot of good baseball. Jim Leyland loves to do stuff with Brandon Inge.
0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. And I say their names because not only do they deserve the credit for the job they're doing, but it makes me think of Ernie Johnson Jr., who is nothing but class in this business. One of the real sweet guys, and he is dealing with a family situation, not available to work the postseason for TBS, but we're thinking about him here at Fox, as I know they are with his family with Turner. Check on the runner, Avila, and the count 1-1 on Inge.
One of the highlights of our game is how many nice people you meet. Isn't it amazing?
It is.
Present company excluded.
Yeah. Well, he took the words right out of my mouth. Here is a 1-1 from Feldman. Just gave up his 1st hit. The bunt, playing it straight. Feldman gets the out. The sacrifice by Inge.
I think a lot of times in that situation in the past he would have hit and run, but Alex Avila is just not moving very well. They're probably trying to protect him.
There's a guy who gave you a big bear hug before the game, Brad Penny, who was quoted in the paper today as saying, hey, if I get in a game, it's not a good situation, and it's a 1-run game.
Yeah, that's just what you want to hear coming from the guy just coming in with a 1-run lead. But he's a big, strong kid, and I'm still feeling the effects of that hug.
Here is Austin Jackson, 0 for 1. He's walked twice. Runner at 2nd, Avila 1 out. He just goes up there ready to rip. Strike 1. Jackson drove home 45. He's had 3 pretty good at bats, been patient. The one guy in this lineup that runs. Stole 22 during the regular season. On the outside part, strike 2.
So many of the good teams in our league now, Tampa, Texas, the Angels, it's such a big part of what they do offensively, running the bases, and it's something that drives managers and coaches crazy because you've got to keep an eye on it every pitch and you got to respect it.
That's what guys have to deal with in the National League. The 0-2. 2 out. And strikeout number 3 for Scott Feldman.
Even when the ball's elevated, nothing straight.
And now Santiago before Delman Young, 2 out, a runner at 2nd. But you have seen, and I noticed it mostly when Joe Torre and Don Zimmer were in charge with the Yankees, and Zimmer kind of brought that style as a bench coach, and Torre was there with his top lieutenant, and you saw more of a National League style baseball.
Oh, I'm sure Zim sat in there every inning and told Joe to go ahead and run everybody because he didn't have to answer the questions.
Runner at 2nd, 2 out. Zim's watching, I'm sure.
I don't think Zim's ever missed a game.
Ball 1, a little up to Santiago.
You walk into that ballpark in Tampa, it's not the nicest ballpark, but when you see Zim smile, it kind of lights the whole place up.
Mike Adams is starting to loosen up. To the right side. Good work turned in by Feldman as Moreland makes that play. Leadoff hit. Feldman gets around it. Bottom of the 6th inning. Good game. Game 2. What is the origin of the phrase can of corn when used to describe a lazy fly ball? I actually knew this one before I saw the answer earlier today.
Can I go with Dennis Eckersley again?
Yes, Dennis Eckersley did it. Look at Davy Crockett almost took out Rayburn, the star for the Detroit Tigers, who hit a 3-run home run earlier. That's kind of spooky looking.
You know, the Seattle Moose almost took out Coco Crisp a couple years ago, and John Farrell almost assassinated him.
Here's a pitch inside for ball to Elvis Andrus. Big bats coming up. Hamilton and Young. Beltre, if anybody gets on, this will be a big inning for Scherzer, who is retired 12 straight. Looked like he was up there to take a strike after getting ahead on the count. It's 2-1.
This is where Andrews has really improved. Just his situational hitting, understanding the game, not just going up there whacking at it.
Hit .279 during the regular season, has 3 hits this postseason. That's ball 3. And if you want to invite trouble, you're Max Scherzer, you put Elvis Andrus on. Face the big bats. Brad Penny is still getting loose. We're in the 6th. And a leadoff walk. Breaks the string of 12 straight. Fox Wednesday, the X Factor is all new. The contestants learn who their mentors are when they travel to the judges' homes. Expect lots of drama and amazing vocal performances. The X Factor, all new Wednesday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central here on Fox. My word was Eastern that I just garbled. Leadoff man is on. Hamilton up. Winning MVP and a guy who hit 25 home runs during the regular season. That's down the right field line, hooking into the corner. It is foul.
You know, he throws him a changeup, and he's so strong, and he keeps his hand back so much. He didn't even hit that ball well, but if he keeps it fair, it's a home run.
1 strike on Hamilton, who has an RBI double, a run scored. That was back in a 2-run first. Rangers haven't scored since.
Sometimes the game looks too easy for Josh.
And now a change out in the Detroit bullpen. Perry, the right-hander, Phil Koch, the hard-throwing lefty. Penny sits down. Inside, a ball and a strike.
And I think Jim Leland's thinking right here is that Scherzer's got him deep enough in the game where he can start matching up lefty-righty.
Goes the other way. Impressive piece of hitting by Hamilton. 2 on, nobody out.
That's a big number 3 hitter right there, taking a ball away and spanking it to left field. That's impressive.
Hooks one foul down the right field line and then later does this.
And it was the same pitch he pulled foul, but it was elevated and it was up enough just where he could stay on it. That's still a nice piece of hitting.
And a visit from the pitching coach, Jeff Jones, with action in the bullpen, 2 on, nobody out. The Rangers already leading in this best of 7, 1 game to nothing. Michael Young will be the hitter, and you've been in a dugout facing Michael Young enough to know that a guy like Young, who's 0 for 5 in this series and 2 out of 20 in this postseason, it's only a matter of time.
And you wonder, just because he's been struggling so bad, if they will ask him to bunt. I would say in the course of the regular season, him hitting where he hits in the order, the way he hits, you'd never ask him to bunt. I think there's a chance right now they actually will have him bunt.
Wow, really? He is hitless in the last 3 games. He's only had 3 4-game hitless streaks since 2007. He's trying to avoid one here. I'd fall out of the booth if you had
He's
Michael
just not
Young
comfortable. He's leaking.
Strike 1.
He's so good when he feels good at hitting the ball to right field. And right now, that body weight is just kind of leaking out towards the left field side. Way to make me look good, Slick Eddie.
Count 0-1, 2 on, nobody out. Rangers down by 1. And they play the Munsters theme song. No, that's the Adams family.
Oh, that's the Adams family.
I got the Munsters on my mind since you call him Slick Eddie.
What a nickname. Half because of his hands and half because he looks like Eddie Munster.
2 on, nobody out, the 0-1. Again, I mean, it's been away, and Young has been out in front and just reaching.
He just can't keep his weight there, and he knows it too. Because when he's right, he rifles balls the other way, and that's when it becomes so much more dangerous. Right now, this is tough duty for him.
Well, you've got a team's number 4 hitter with no RBIs this postseason, and they've advanced past the Rays, and they're up a game on Detroit.
What's that tell you? Because you know he's going to get hot.
And Ron Washington's team has a lot of ways they can beat you. Into right. Falling in a hurry, and Rayburn makes a nice catch. Tagging and going to third with good base running is Elvis Andrus. He's there with 1 out.
That was really nice base running. He checked the ball to see if it was going to fall in. Then he got back in time to use his speed and get over to third. That's terrific base running.
A lot of guys with an outfielder charging like that coming in toward the infield wouldn't even think about that.
They'd conceded and stayed first and second, and nobody would say a word. Now the whole situation changes.
For Adrian Beltre, who drove home 105 during the regular season and has an RBI double in today's game. Tying run at third.
Now they can play for a double play because of Beltre's hamstring. He is a double play candidate.
Cost him 5 weeks of the season. Takes a strike. Good pitch. 92 from Scherzer.
Looks like he's taken all the way. You don't see that very often.
But here's a guy who put up 32 home runs, 105 RBIs, and missed 5 weeks with that hamstring.
And as he sees more pitches in that bat, you'll see him look to right field more and more.
95 from Scherzer, strike 2. Beltre is grounded into 13 double plays this season. Pops out of the box with an 0-2 count. Step to third, throw to first.
He didn't get Hamilton, but he got Cabrera.
And the count still 0-2 on Adrian Beltre. Big strikeout. Out number 2, and Scherzer rings up his 6th, but none bigger than that.
What a nice pitch. The second strike fastball set that pitch up right there. Fastball for a strike. Ran the fastball in on him a little bit and set that up. That's nice pitching to a dangerous hitter. Now they're out there putting their first and third defense on, and they're still going to have to respect Andrew's speed at third. You can't just throw through. You can't make that play to shortstop and back or to second base and back and throw him out at the plate.
It's up to Napoli for the Rangers, first and third, 2 out. Strike 1.
If Texas sends Hamilton, you may see Avila just eat it and just take their chances with Napoli.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Hamilton at first. The middle infielders are so far back.
It wouldn't be surprising if they just concede it and they don't vacate their positions and just try to get the out.
Now Avila out to talk. First base coach Gary Pettis comes in to talk to Hamilton. It would not be an insignificant stolen base. Then a hit gives Texas a lead theoretically if they concede with Hamilton at first.
It's just so difficult to defend this right now because of Andrew's speed at third. You could run this play to perfection like you practice in spring training, and he still could be safe at home.
So you're in the category of a double steal.
I'm in a category that they're not going to defend it.
Here's the 0-1. On the inside corner, and Scherzer has made some pitches. 0-2.
That's 96 miles an hour with movement. And I know that the tracker said it's off the plate, but it's still a really good pitch. He's now opened up the plate if he wants to go away with something.
Napoli, who shortens up with 2 strikes, not opposed to going the other way. And they are thinking about Hamilton maybe trying to run at first. Now with 2 strikes, 2 outs. You can see it, and as you said, Avila probably would just put it in his pocket.
Especially being ahead in the count right now, you're going to take your chances just getting the hitter.
Ball 1.
And maybe more importantly, or at least just as importantly, you don't want your middle infielders vacating their position. Napoli can hit the ball to the right field side. That's an awful big hole if you got somebody covering.
See what Napoli's done this year with 2 strikes, and that's been from choking up on the bat. Instead of just laying back and looking for power all the time, he's become a much better hitter. Hit .320. There goes Hamilton, and one hopper to Peralta. Makes the stop and a perfect throw, and Scherzer gets around a walk and a hit. Rangers have left 4 on the day. Trailed by 1. Back after this from your local Fox station. Fouls it out of play. 4 innings, a hit, no runs. And the Texas bullpen with the job that Feldman has done. What a luxury for Ron Washington. Don't get shortchanged to get your cash back with Chase Freedom. Pretty good pitch, called ball 1, and there are those numbers updated what Ron Washington has been able to go to out of his pen. But what a start today by Scherzer. Plenty of time for Elvis. 1 out. Delman Young in his return to the active roster, 0 for 4, and here's how they welcomed Max Scherzer back to the dugout. Smiles. And a little strategy between Leland and Scherzer, and you can see him say, you're at 90 pitches.
I think he's telling him he's done. Either that, he's going back on a short rope, but that's why players like playing for Jim Leland right there.
Well, whoever is on the mound in the bottom of this 7th inning, it'll be the bottom 3 in the lineup. The curveball from Feldman, strike 1 on Cabrera, who's 1 for 3.
And you know, whether Texas comes back and wins this game or not, Feldman's done an unbelievable job. Completely keeping their bullpen having a semblance of order.
How about Brad Penny's back up, along with Benoit.
I got to believe if the score stays like it is, Benoit's coming in, and if they tack on a run or two, maybe they'll go to Penny.
Benoit, who signed early with Detroit in the offseason, set the market for setup relievers, former Tampa Bay Ray. And he got nice money to come set up for Valverde. 2-2, good pitch to Cabrera. Cabrera's been shaking out his left hand after the last couple of swings. And he gets time.
You know, not only is Feldman getting them out, but they haven't had guys up in their bullpen all day.
Good pitch down and away, and Cabrera strikes out for the 4th Scott Feldman strikeout. 2 out. That's the part where you talk about how nasty this pitch is down and away to Cabrera.
I got thirsty. That is filthy. Nothing is straight.
Once again, today's Volkswagen Passat trivia question. The origin of the phrase can of corn when used to describe a lazy fly ball, dating back to the 19th century, which Terry is in the 1800s. It relates to an old-time grocer's method of getting canned goods down from a high shelf.
Got to remember, you're talking to a second semester freshman from the University of Arizona.
Using a stick with a hook on the end, the grocer would tip a can so it would fall for an easy catch into his apron.
I actually knew that. I had a message from John Farrell in between innings telling me exactly what it was, and I didn't believe him.
A 1-0 pitch. Martinez flies one into shallow left. It's a high can of corn.
Boy, you guys are good here at Fox.
Can of corn. So Ryan Rayburn goes from right to left, and Don Kelly, who can play anywhere, he's got a great arm, goes to right. Bottom of the 7th inning, and Scherzer is back for more. Swing and a miss by Nelson Cruz. 3-2 Tigers in game 2.
And I think what we're seeing is Jim Leland didn't want to use a right-hander just for one hitter with the 2 lefties coming up behind him.
That was what the conversation was.
Yes, exactly.
So this should be it for Scherzer.
Or he may have told him, you're hitter to hitter. You can stay in there until you get a base runner. But there's a pretty good chance this is his last hitter either way.
And Murphy struggled so badly against left-handed pitching.
It's an easy one right now.
Here's a 1-1. In the air to left, down the line, hooking foul. Strike 2. Our Geico in-game box score for the Rangers, who bat here in the 7th inning. RBIs in this game by Hamilton, Adrian Beltre, guy at the plate, Nelson Cruz, had a leadoff double in the second. The Rangers did nothing with it. Now they trail by 1. At that time they led 2-0. Well hit down the line. Is it fair? Tie game. And after pitching a brilliant game, that'll be the taste left in the mouth of Max Scherzer. A rocket off the bat of Nelson Cruz. There for one more batter. And that one batter got him.
That's about an identical pitch from last night.
His second home run of this series. Walsh celebrates. Tied at 3. Tie game. Back-to-back lefties for Coke. That means David Murphy first up, down and away, ball 1. As a manager, Terry Francona, you want your guy to go out there and get one more hitter, and I'm sure you're holding your breath sometimes that he can get that guy and then set up the bullpen the way you want it. Strike 1.
That ball hit the foul pole, and it undid a lot of thinking that was in that dugout. They had it set up right where they wanted it. They get through one hitter, and they start matching it up until they get to their guys, and it was undone with that one good swing.
And the 3-3 score. Cabrera backs up and flips for the out. When he came off after getting out of that 2-on nobody out jam, he met with Jim Leyland.
And he's explaining it to him right now. You know, he wanted him to know what was expected of him when he went back out onto the mound.
Boy, he pitched great.
He pitched a heck of a game.
6+, 3 runs, 6 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, but a home run. And now you get into the battle of the bullpens even deeper, and that's where the Rangers have a big advantage.
And again, I come back on it. What Feldman did set up the whole bullpen for Texas. He kept the game right where it was supposed to be, where a swing like that means something as opposed to just making a dent in a loss. And now they go their horses down there.
Counts 0-1 on Moreland, who has struck out twice. Back behind the plate and out of play. What do you have, Ken Rosenthal, on Scott Feldman?
Well, Joe, the Rangers pitching depth is just stunning. Feldman is a guy who missed more than half the season coming off right knee surgery. The Rangers basically used their 5 starters the entire year, and here they have Feldman now coming out of the bullpen. They also traded Tommy Hunter, a 5th starter type, earlier this year for Koji Uehara. It's just one after another.
And this is a team, as you said, they were healthy with their rotation. They used a total of 7 starting pitchers all year. Here's the 0-1. That skips in, and a lot of that was trying to slow down guys at the end of the season. Ogando we talked about, so that he didn't get overworked, and now they have the hard-throwing Ogando getting loose. He threw 2 great innings here 2 nights ago.
And it's well documented how much they've talked about their starters going deep in games and throwing innings, but they've certainly kept an eye on some of these younger pitchers also.
Here's a 1-2. 2 out, and for the 3rd time today, Moreland strikes out. That's going to be it for Phil Coke. There's Perry and Benoit. With Kinsler coming up. Coke did his job. But in this 7th, Nelson Cruz has tied it 3-3, bottom of the 7th, 2 out. Deal. He's got overpowering stuff, good changeup to left-handers. And he takes over with 2 out, nobody on, a run home here in the bottom of the 7th.
Be careful on that first fastball.
You think Kinsler's hunting one of those?
If he likes it, he could come unglued here.
Fastball in. And that straightens up Ian Kinsler.
Maybe not having that Band-Aid was affecting his command.
Yeah, the Yankees, Joe Girardi made him take a Band-Aid off his left cheek in Game 5 of that division series, a game that Tigers won.
Could have been the first series that was affected by a boil.
As it is, he's Band-Aid free. And the count 1-0 on Kinsler.
Boy, that's look at that movement on that changeup. That's why he's so tough versus left-hand hitters, because of that pitch right there.
Just missed. The deal that Benoit signed then kind of set up the market for a guy like Rafael Soriano, who signed a 3-year $35 million deal with the Yankees. Even Bobby Jenks, who went to your team and just could never get healthy.
I know the Tigers took a little bit of heat when they first signed him, but they wanted him and they got him.
Here's a 2-1. That had a chance of coming back fair with all that spin on it. It stayed foul. And the count 2-2.
Benoit's kind of a neat story. You know, he goes to Tampa. He had gone off the radar for a while after pitching in Texas and had one of the better years you could ever have out of the bullpen.
Both those guys I mentioned left the Tampa Bay bullpen.
They have an unbelievable way of finding relievers, and their success ratio is terrific.
Totally rebuilt that pen, and there they were.
And they're still good.
Won the wild card out of the East. Here is a 2-2. Out of play. You've got an 83, 84 mile per hour changeup with movement, and then 95 mile per hour heat. And see why Dave Dombrowski wanted him. Trying to get it to Valverde, who is perfect on the year.
And that changeup is so effective because it, unlike a breaking ball, there's no spin to it, and it just goes down in the zone, and there's deception with it, and it's a killer pitch.
The 2-2 is hit in the air to left. Back in front of the track to end the inning. A loud final out. Go back to game 1. Talk about Nelson Cruz getting hot. His home run was the difference in the game in the win against Verlander. Then today, the tying shot. Into the 8th we go. Tied at 3.
Probably sound like his agent, but what he did was, in winning the game, certainly the priority, but he kept complete order in their bullpen, and on top of that, he gave him a chance to win. They never even had to get up somebody throwing while he was in there. It was a tremendous effort.
Now it's Peralta. Strike 1. In the bottom of this 8th inning, the Rangers will have Elvis Andrus, then Josh Hamilton, then Michael Young. Anybody gets on Beltre. Redondo trying to keep it 3-3. Strike 2.
Every pitcher that Texas brings in is just throwing the ball with so much confidence.
Geico in-game box score for Detroit. One big swing, and that was by Rayburn back in the 3rd inning. A 3-run shot off Derek Holland, the starter, who is now off the hook. Then Feldman took over. Ball 1. Peralta's doubled. He's 1 for 3. Bounced into a force out, and he's flied out. His double came in the 3rd inning, and he was left on. Two and 2.
That pitch there, that's why right-handers hit about 203 versus him this year.
Peralta got under it, and now Hamilton's under it. 2 out. Now Avila, who got a hit his last time up. 1 for 7 in this series and 2 for 23 this postseason. He did pop 19 home runs.
And, you know, he finally faced a right-hander and hit the first pitch for a line drive base hit.
There is Alex's dad, a pair of Al's.
And that guy on the left never missed a cutoff man.
No, the great Al Kaline.
What a gentleman.
Al Avila, and that's how Alex Avila's dad pronounces his last name.
I'll stay with me long enough and you won't pronounce any names.
Has to be so proud of his son, who is now set up at 0-2. Three game in the 8th. Not only 99 miles per hour, but a pitch that's been a strike much of the day. Ball 2.
That might be a call there where Larry Vanover's thinking, I don't want to hear him yelling at me the whole next half inning.
Yeah, he's got the catcher at the plate, who has a 2-2 count. Throwing harder as he goes. 98. That's harder than he was throwing the other night. Hit 99 on that 1-2 pitch. Feliz, the closer, hit 101. What a game. You know, Terry, at Fox, we promote our shows by having stars from those shows show up to ballparks. We were going to do that for Terra Nova, but the Brontosaurus couldn't get through security. There's a 1-0.
Probably showing my age, but I'm still a Friends fan.
Oh, yeah. we're actually gonna show people your age because we're about to go on camera. That's thrilling. The count is 2-0. Benoit trying to keep it a 3-3 game. Big bats. Follow Elvis Andrus. And now he is falling behind 3-0.
And again, you're getting in that dangerous situation. Good base runner, great hitter. A lot of bad things can happen.
Four-pitch walk. And so now, as you look at Jim Leyland, guy who sat in the corner of the dugout for the Red Sox, thinking along with him, and you know something bad's going to happen if you're Leyland after a leadoff walk.
It's not the way you want to set it up. You got one of the best base runners in the league. You got one of the best hitters in the league. You got the middle of the order coming up. There's a lot of things that can happen, and they're not good.
And that is beginning with Josh Hamilton, who is digging in. Josh is 2 for 3. RBI double, a run scored, a single his last time up. 3-3 in the 8th. Go ahead run at first. Nobody out. First strike of the inning. Actually play Hamilton to hit it the other way as he did his last time up, taking a pitch up and away. He flipped it into left. The 0-1 was ready to jump on that pitch, and he got fooled with a changeup, strike 2.
I think something that goes unnoticed. Benoit does such an effective job of holding the base runner while still executing his pitches. Some guys you can ask to hold the runner and they do that, but they lose some on their pitches. He can do both. You know, Andrews wants to run so bad it's killing him, and Benoit's not allowing him to.
Ball 1. But you mentioned before that this Rangers team, even with the power hitting of Hamilton at the plate, they will still run.
And Wash gives them the green light. But believe me, he's in scoring position right now.
Two and 2.
You can see Gary Pettis down there. When he comes back to first, he's giving him the times to the plate across his chest, whether he's 1-3, 1-4, just which means he does have the right to go.
Got the stopwatch in his right hand, timing the release of the guy on the mound, Joaquin Benoit. There he goes. And a line drive for a double play. You can live by the run and die by the run in a blink, 2 out. And a bad break for the Rangers as Hamilton made a bid for another opposite field hit.
That was a bad break. They did everything right. Runner goes in motion. Hamilton takes a beautiful swing, and it's 1 swing, 2 outs.
Inge with a catch in the throw, and now Michael Young with the bases empty. Young hit .338, hit just 11 home runs during the regular season. As Benoit is 1 batter away from getting around that leadoff walk. In the 9th for the Tigers, Inge, Jackson, Santiago. He went. And it's 0-2. Jose Valverde is getting ready. Closer for the Rangers now slows it down. Started to get loose in case Texas did something with that leadoff walk. Remember, Delman Young was taken out of the game for defensive purposes. Can't throw with that strain in his oblique. So due up fourth for the Tigers in the ninth is Kelly and not Delman Young. That's when the Tigers had a 1-run lead. Fly ball into right for Kelly. Due up fourth in the ninth as we go there in game 2 with Texas leading 1-0. This game is tied 3-3. Visit from Mike Maddox as pitching coach because Andy Dirks is off the bench to make his first postseason at bat, and he takes a pitch low, ball 1.
And it looks like they got Mike Gonzalez out in the bullpen for Kelly. As you said, Kelly's hitting third, but that's got to be a 1 and in, and then they'll go to somebody else.
Dirks flies one into center for Hamilton, a late break, but he's there. 1 out. It's Jackson, then Santiago, then Kelly. Somebody gets on, and we remind you that coming up tonight, game 2 of the NLCS, with the Brewers, winners of the Central, taking on the St. Louis Cardinals, the wild card winners. That's Miller Park, and that's tonight at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on TBS. And we're back here on Fox tomorrow night, game 3 from Detroit at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Here's Austin Jackson, takes a ball. Oh for 2. 1-1. Pitching matchup in game 3 of Colby Lewis, who's been so good on the road this year for Texas, against Doug Fister. It's a huge pickup by the Tigers at the deadline. He was the winner in game 5 of the division series at Yankee Stadium. Two and 2. Two out.
That's just throw right down the middle and see if you can hit it. I'm going to throw this as hard as I can, see if you can hit it.
Rings in Santiago, who had to hit his first time up. 1 out of 4 on the day. Ball 1. Rangers will have Beltre, Napoli, and the suddenly red hot Nelson Cruz in the bottom of this ninth. In the air to left center field. That ball is going to drop for a hit. And the go-ahead run is on with 2 out. And Don Kelly coming up. Ron Washington is making the slow walk out, and he will go to Gonzalez. Ogando is finished. Top of the ninth. Go ahead run at first. 2 out. Gonzalez coming in. Kelly coming up. was throwing, would you have taken Ogando out?
That's a difficult one to say. He was throwing the ball great. The reason he can do it is because they're playing at home and he's got Neftali Feliz next. But I agree with your point. Kind of hard to take him out.
Go ahead, run at first. Kelly takes over, but low ball one. Kelly hit the big home run for the first run of the night in Game 5 on Thursday at Yankee Stadium. Hit it off Ivan Nova. Then he was followed immediately by Delman Young. And it was 2-0 in the first. A game they won 3-2, and this one's in the corner. How will that rattle around as Santiago digs to third, and they're going to hold him. They hold Ramon Santiago on a double by Don Kelly, and now the go-ahead run is 90 feet away with Cabrera coming up. And this crowd has been taken straight out of the game by Don Kelly. And Washington is going to make another move. Took Ogando out to get the left-hander in the game against Kelly. That didn't work. And now Washington, it appears, will go out and take the ball from Gonzalez. Action for Detroit in the ninth. Into the game. First base open. Miguel Cabrera coming up, and this is exactly what Detroit wants. And it comes courtesy of a double by Don Kelly.
You know, you're right, the domino effect for that one single. Even if Detroit doesn't score, Texas is committed to Feliz. And if they start going into extra innings here, he's either going to have to stay out there or they're going to go to the guys that they didn't want to pitch in this situation.
Well, now they bring Feliz in to intentionally pass Cabrera. There's some managers who want the other guy to walk him, so that in this case Feliz doesn't warm up, and now his next 4 pitches are just floaters out of the strike zone.
And my guess is here is that Ron Washington and Mike Maddox wanted to talk this over to decide what they wanted to do. Maybe there was some indecision there, because I agree the last thing you want to do is have a guy come in and throw the ball 6 feet off the plate and lose his arm slot.
And now the bases will be loaded where there's no margin for error. So this is unfolded thanks to a hit with 2 out by Santiago, a double by Kelly, the intentional walk. And it's up to Victor Martinez, who was baseball's best during the regular season with runners in scoring position. And it's Feliz against Martinez in a tie game 9th inning.
The Cabrera is such a prolific hitter. I understand why you walk him, but you put your pitcher in a tough spot right now.
Ball 1.
Well, his arm doesn't hurt.
100 miles per hour, but well outside and down with the bases loaded, 2 out. This crowd groaned when Ogando was taken out of the game. And now it's bases loaded, 2 out, a 1-0 pitch. A ball and a strike. After an intentional walk this year to Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez went 4 for 15. The 1-1. Strike 2.
He's got to keep in the back of his mind, if he wants to bounce that breaking ball, it'd be a great pitch to strike him out, but it can also go to the backstop.
2-2.
Yeah, that one almost went to the backstop.
Napoli up to grab it. Victor Martinez. 103 RBIs during the regular season. 3 this postseason. Little pop-up out behind second base. Elvis Andrus is out. And so is Martinez. So are the Tigers. And he just did hold on. There was a lot of white popping out. And he trapped it against his body to end the inning. Into the bottom of the ninth, tied at 3. An ERA of 6.29. This one is ripped by Beltre at the wall, off the wall. And Adrian Beltre has started the ninth with a double.
I thought there was a chance they'd run for him right here.
He has a speedy guy in Andy Chavez on his bench. Ron Washington, but so far no sign of him. And they're going to intentionally walk Napoli and bring up the guy who's gotten hot for Texas, Nelson Cruz. Benoit went an inning and a third. 1 walk, the rest zeros. And Valverde on the first pitch has a double bang off the wall in left center.
Well, with Cruz hitting and Adrian Beltre at second, you know they're not going to bunt.
Nelson Cruz will walk to the plate. Andy Dirks has taken over in right after pinch hitting for Inge. And Don Kelly has gone from right to third. Tigers led 3-2 going into the bottom of the 7th when the man at the plate, Nelson Cruz, went deep off the foul pole down the left field line to tie it off Scherzer. That hits Cruz to load him up. And he is hurt. Ouch. That caught him in the chest. And then off the right arm. I think that got him in 2 spots.
I got to believe it hurts a lot less than the fact that they're giving him first base and they didn't call the swing. But it looked like it hit him in the ribs after it hit his wrist.
Now it caught him on the wrist. You're right. Wrist first, then the ribs.
Detroit's going to have to bring their infield all the way in, and they're going to have to bring their outfield all the way in.
There's nobody out. And David Murphy could end game 2. Beltre will tag. Backing up to make the catch is a left fielder, Rayburn. But Beltre holds at third, 1 out. Murphy couldn't do it. Valverde a big out, and now he will deal with Mitch Moreland.
Well, I'm sure Dave Anderson gave that a thought just because he didn't get behind it very well. And it wasn't very deep, but he didn't get behind it and get set to throw. I'm still wondering, you know, a guy like Andy Chavez, if he has a chance to score there.
But no pinch runner, and Beltre, who missed time with a bad hamstring, did not test Rayburn. Good rip by Moreland, but strike 1. Moreland has struck out 3 times in today's game, and he is 0 for 3 against Valverde in his career.
Now the infield can back up and play for a possible double play. And if it's hit up the middle soft, they'll still come home.
Strike 2. Big swing by Moreland. He's now in the hole and in danger of striking out for the 4th time in game 2.
If Valverde pitches out of this, you're not going to see a celebration. You're going to see a party.
From Valverde.
Yes.
Trying to get that big second out. The winning run at third. Two and 2. Broken back. Cabrera comes home, out, back to first, and that double play ends the inning. Unbelievable job by Valverde to get out of it. One hop, Cabrera to the plate, the return throw and tag, and that keeps us tied into the 10th here in game 2. In for Terranova, except on the West Coast. That will come up immediately after baseball is finished, but we are into extra innings. In a 3-3 game with the Rangers leading 1-0. Breaking ball from Feliz misses down and away, and Ron Washington will have to answer questions about not pinch running for Adrian Beltre after that leadoff double to start the 9th. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And now you're getting into a situation where not only is the winner and loser of the game important, but you got your closers throwing 2 innings.
Here is a 1-1. High for ball 2, 2-1, and now this goes back to what we talked about at the beginning of the game, which is 4 days straight of games, weather permitting, and now you're extending Neftali Feliz
and Valverde.
2-2. But the reason the pinch runner comes up is because of that fly ball that was hit into left, and you saw what I saw, that Rayburn didn't get behind the ball.
And he throws very well, but he did not get behind the ball. And I'm just, again, you know, not sitting in the dugout, you don't know. But I got to believe Craig Gentry had a chance of scoring that ball.
2-2 pitch to Rayburn, who is homered. Is inside a full count, and for Ryan, those are the only RBIs of the day for Detroit. That was against the starter Holland, made it 3-2, which it was until the bottom of the 7th. Each side has missed chances here lately. 3-2 pitch. Ball 4, leadoff walk.
And that last pitch was close. That's 99, 2 inches off the plate.
Rayburn was at the mercy of the home plate umpire, and he got ball 4.
He wasn't going to hit it anyway. Good move.
Now Peralta. You've got Avila on deck, and then Dirks. Gene Lamont, the third base coach, went down to talk to Peralta. We'll see what they do. Do they bunt the runner up? No.
Johnny Peralta's such a good fastball hitter. You've got a guy on deck that hasn't been getting a ton of hits, and then you got a guy that hasn't even been playing. So they're going to let Johnny swing.
Go ahead, run it first with nobody out.
Get ready, buddy, come on.
'99 running away from Peralta, strike 1.
Feliz does such a great job holding runners. The only way they can put him in motion here is if they put a hit and run on. They can't put a straight steal.
And that becomes so iffy with the swings and misses against Feliz.
That's part of the package.
Game number 169 of the season, and Gene Lamont has to come down and talk to Peralta with the sign.
I think that's because they don't hit and run very much in this situation, but they got to try to move this runner.
Now he shows bunt, takes a ball.
And they never ask him to bunt. That's why. This is not an easy guy to turn around and show him your chest. This could very easily go from a bunt to a hit and run.
Now with a count in the favor of Peralta, 2-1. The bunt checks up, and it's perfect. The out at first, down to second, the go-ahead run. Good work by Peralta. And Feliz will deal with Avila and Dirks.
Well, they don't ask him to bunt very often, and he laid down a blueprint.
So now it's Alex Avila, who came in 1 for 20 in this postseason into this game. He's been a battler behind home plate all year. He has a hit today. 2 out of 24 this postseason, an .083 average, 1 RBI. Strike 1. at what these two teams have done with runners in scoring position. Fly ball into left center field, and Murphy over to catch it. Wandering too far is the runner, and just back in time is Rayburn. He thought that ball was in the gap, and Murphy almost doubled him off the bag.
Off the bat, it looked like a ball in the gap. Murphy did a great job closing ground right there.
He went as far as he could and just got back. And now Dirks, who's 0 for 1 this postseason. That came in the 9th when he flied out. Gonna have to crank it up another notch. 101.
You sure that's not kilometers?
I mean, that ball is exploding.
It's unbelievable.
The opposite way, and Andrus makes the play to end the inning. Feliz gets around a leadoff walk, still tied into the bottom of the 10th. House. And with the top of the order coming up, Valverde is back to the mound. Ian Kinsler at 32 home runs during the regular season, 1 this postseason. Faces Valverde. Poured over the outside corner at 92. Strike 1, and we've talked about deception with the delivery, and Valverde has that. He's got a unique approach.
That's the way of saying it.
One ball, one strike. Ball 2.
You get on the road, extra innings, you're always that one pitch away from going home. That's pretty profound.
Award-winning. See you at the Emmys.
Stay with me while I give you some knowledge.
2 balls and a strike. Good pitch, 2-2. The difference between these two sides, and I know we keep going back to this, but after this battle between Feliz and Valverde, the Rangers still have some bullets down there with Adams and Uehara. Still 2-2.
Seems like there's a little bit of a hesitation to use Uehara because of some of the solo homers he gave up in September. And I think there's some questions how many games Adams can pitch back to back to back. So there's some things that Ron Washington has to think about right now.
A lot of this facilitated by the move to take Ogando out after that 2-out flare hit in the 9th. Two balls, 2 strikes. Into center, right at Jackson, 1 out. The best play of tonight's game brought to you by the Audi A8. True greatness should never go unrecognized. Here is the inability to score on the fly ball to the left, and that was followed by Moreland hitting into a 3-2-3 on the tag double play. That kept it tied after the Rangers in the ninth had bases loaded, nobody out, and Valverde got out of it.
You can see Cabrera, when he caught that ball, thought about stepping on first, decided to take the sure out at home, ended up being a great decision.
Showing bunt, taking a strike. Elvis Andrus, who is 1 for 2 with a pair of walks. Remember, he made the catch on that flare with the bases loaded. Ball hit by Victor Martinez in the ninth to end the threat. Strike 2.
I know your Fox tracker doesn't like that pitch. That's still a well thrown ball in a good location.
Nothing and 2 the count. Cabrera to his right, now to the bag, 2 out. In the top of the first inning in Milwaukee, with the Cardinals down 1-0, Albert Pujols has hit a 2-run home run, put St. Louis on top before that series goes to Busch Stadium during the week.
Be some interesting decisions with Albert Pujols pretty soon.
Absolutely. Free agent to be. Now Josh Hamilton with 2 out, nobody on. More than capable of ending game 2 with 1 swing. Instead, he grounds to Santiago. How about this game? We go into inning number 11. Good work by Valverde. Game, and we've seen great relief work. And now Mike Adams, one of the big weapons that John Daniels picked up at the trading deadline from San Diego, takes over, and he has closer type stuff.
He has great stuff. And we talked about this before the first game, that we both said the pitching on both sides may overwhelm some of these good hitters, and that's what we're seeing.
Austin Jackson is first up, top of the order for Detroit. That means Jackson, Santiago, and Kelly. Strike 1. If anybody gets on, Miguel Cabrera.
And the one weakness in Adams' game is he doesn't hold runners very well.
Ryan Perry, who worked in game 1, is getting loose. Both closer Valverde and closer Feliz are going to be finished. Feliz being replaced by Adams, and Perry getting ready to take over for Valverde, who made it interesting but did a terrific job to keep it tied. 1-1. Jackson hitless on the day. Has some home run thump, and he takes down and away. Fastball missed. It's 2-1. We've seen such great pitching in this game out of the bullpen. How'd you like to be the guy to come in and not carry it on? Feldman set that tone for Texas. On the inside corner, 2-2.
Everything he throws has tremendous movement, whether it's in or out. Nothing straight.
He went one away. Went too far. That's out number one. And now the switch hitting second baseman Santiago steps in. So you know, in the bottom of the 11th, it'll be the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for Texas. Strike one. This long game will have a ripple effect the rest of the week with these bullpens, with games coming up tomorrow night and Wednesday and Thursday afternoons. Foul. Strike two.
You know, maybe that's the way it should be. We get through a 7-game series and use everybody in your on your pitching staff, and they're using their bench players. Maybe you can really find out who does have the better team. Sometimes you go through a series, if you get good starting pitching, you skip some of those guys in the middle of your bullpen.
Ball one. Rangers added a reliever, Yoshinori Tateyama, for this round.
But again, he's more of a situational right-hander, throwing from down under, so it's going to be hard to run him out there for any length.
Uehara and Darren Oliver left for the Rangers in their pen. Just outside, 2-2. Two out.
Look at the movement on this pitch. He's throwing from the first base side of the rubber to such an extreme that ball probably looks like it's a foot off the plate.
And just flailing at it is Santiago for out number 2. Now Don Kelly, who homered in Game 5 of the division series, and his double set up a great chance in the 9th. And he hit it against Gonzalez, the lefty. This guy's had a bounce around career, but he is valuable for Jim Leland, who can literally play him everywhere. He's played all 9 positions in the big leagues.
Every manager wants to have that luxury.
25-man roster. He counts for about 2. Strike one.
With that movement he has on his fastball and where he's positioned on the rubber, it just makes it so difficult for the left-hand hitter to reach that ball away.
The inspiration to get Don Kelly, we showed you in the on-deck circle, Miguel Cabrera, with a count 1-1. Ball 2. We are over 4 hours into this game 2. 2-2. Kelly's had some good swings. Certainly did on that double against the lefty, and he did against Ivan Nova on Thursday night in the Bronx.
And anytime you prolong at bats, even if you make an out, maybe you cut into his next inning of work.
Ball 3.
It's just there's so much deception with that pitch because of where he's located on the rubber. That ball's a good 7-8 inches off the plate.
Back up the middle, and Kelly's got another hit. And that keeps this 11th inning alive for Miguel Cabrera in a terrific 7-pitch at bat from Don Kelly.
He's living away, he's living away, he's living away, and then he's going to get one over the middle enough where he can hit it back up the middle.
So close to a strikeout on the previous pitch.
This is going to be so interesting right now, and they're going to go talk about this because Kelly can run if he wants to. The one thing Adams doesn't do is hold runners, but look who's hitting. And you don't ever want to take the bat out of his hands.
Yeah, and you're saying that because if he steals second, you've got first base open. There's no reason to pitch to Cabrera.
Exactly.
They've already walked Cabrera once and got away with it by getting Victor Martinez to pop up with the bases loaded in the 9th. But that's not even on the table right now with the runner at first. So digging in is the league's top hitter. Strike one on the inside corner. And how about those numbers for Cabrera against the man on the mound, Mike Adams?
I think he's got those numbers against quite a few guys.
Don't think Adams doesn't know those numbers are there. 4 for 4, and now Adams steps off.
And if they stay ahead in the count to Cabrera, then it's more likely that they'll let Kelly steal.
One ball, one strike. Strike 2.
Hit the glove. Wouldn't be surprised at all if now they let him go. They've got to the point where they won't walk him. So go ahead and take advantage of Adams being so slow to the plate.
see if Kelly takes off. Two and two. There are some managers who don't like to put movement on behind the pitcher when a guy like Cabrera is hitting.
And Jim Leland may very well be that. He knows his hitter better than anybody, and this is his horse.
Just leave him alone and let him
hit it as far as he can.
There he goes, and a fly ball into right center field. Back is Hamilton. The park will hold it.
That may not have held that in the day game.
But now we're in. And coming up next on Fox, except on the West Coast, we will take you right to Terra Nova and then House. As we're cutting into the primetime lineup just after 8:30 in the East. And here's Ryan Perry.
And you guys used to complain about the Yankees Red Sox.
Yeah. Hey, we never complained because it was such good baseball. Typically in this game, Terry, I mean, this is anything, forget a baseball fan, any casual sports fan would love. Michael Young, strike one.
You know, when there's an exciting baseball and it's well played, it doesn't matter what the length is.
Valverde went 2, 1 hit, 1 walk. It was intentional. Hit a batter and get out of a bases loaded, nobody out situation in the ninth. Here's the 0-1.
And I guess it doesn't hurt when you have exciting announcers to listen to, huh?
There's no doubt. Don't hurt yourself patting yourself on the back. I don't want you to blow a shoulder.
This is going to be my 8th release after this game of my career.
Michael Young is trying to avoid his 4th consecutive hitless game. Always described as a professional hitter because he is so good with a bat in his hands. Went up to spoil it, still 0-2.
Look how hard he's trying to hit that ball to right field. He's trying desperately to keep that weight back and just shove that ball to right field.
How about that? Just one career walk-off home run. Good pitch from Perry as Young was able to lay off. About 15 home games, the Texas Rangers have never had a walk-off win in the postseason. Base hit. Kelly was near the line, and Young has his first hit of this ALCS.
And Jim Leland's playing for no doubles. And that's a lot of managers do that. If he's straight up, that's ground ball 5-3.
Now Beltre, who has a pair of doubles in this game. He led off that 9th inning with a double off the wall in left center. Big hole on the right side. Tigers not looking for a bunt at all. Pitches inside, ball 1. By the way, we have not seen Nelson Cruz have to hit again since getting hit on the wrist. He could come up in this 11. 2-0. Napoli on deck and then Cruz.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say this could be a big swing.
Perry behind on the count. As opposed to Michael Young, here's a guy who knows how to end a game in thrilling fashion. There's your big swing. Strike one.
Ball almost hit him.
Into center. Jackson will play it on a bounce, and the first two are on for the Rangers in the 11th. Third hit of this game for Adrian Beltre. Napoli coming up, 2 on, nobody out. Albuquerque is the right-hander. Daniel Schlereth is a lefty. If you are just joining us, here's a summary. There hasn't been a lot of scoring, but there's been plenty of action. Rayburn, a 3-run home run to give the Tigers lead in the 3rd. Nelson Cruz tied it with a home run in the 7th, and there are the numbers for the bullpen. And this game just rolls on, and now here's another great scoring chance for the home team.
Yeah, but you still got good pitching, and you got Albuquerque on the bullpen. He strikes everybody out, but he can also walk people, so there's the fine line.
And his killer slider has not been as good in this postseason as it was during the regular season, so he's out there, and it's Ryan Perry on the mound. Napoli. Ball 1.
Everybody in the ballpark knows what's going on here. Napoli's not thinking about bunting. He wants to hit this as far as he can.
Strike 1. Napoli hit 2 home runs the last game of the season against the Angels, which gave, in essence, the Rangers home field advantage in this series after the Tigers knocked off the New York Yankees. And it also took Napoli to 30 home runs on the year.
You know, the 1-0 pitch that Napoli wasn't happy about, it changes the whole sequence. I mean, that's ball 3. It's 3-0, and you can see why Napoli's saying something. It changes the whole at bat around.
Instead, it's 2-1. Good pitch in on the hands of Napoli. 2-2.
Then he comes in on him. He comes in on him with movement. That's a great pitch. It ties him up. If you let Napoli extend those arms so often, the ball ends up where it's not supposed to.
Now his walk-off history. Last time he did it, with 2 on, nobody out. 2-2 to count. Still 2-2. They stay put. Napoli into right center field. That ball is down for a base hit. And it will load the bases as Dirks could not come up with it.
They might have glanced at each other just for a second.
It's ruled a hit, but Dirks missed it.
And it hits Jackson's leg, or this game's over.
Michael Young goes second to third. And now it's Nelson Cruz. He's homered in this game. Gets a big rip, and I guess the wrist is okay.
And they're in the same exact situation they were a couple innings ago. Infield's in, outfield's in.
But instead of Valverde on the mound, it's Ryan Perry.
That's a good point.
Hammered down the line, but pulled foul. Count may be 0-2, but Nelson Cruz is getting more and more locked in. He homered in game 1, and he tied game 2 off Scherzer. Then in the 9th, he got hit to load the bases. Caught the wrist and then the chest.
That last ball he hit, we can pick it up on the way home. Ball was crushed.
Count 0-2. Wouldn't chase. Rangers attempting to win their 4th straight one-run postseason game. In the air to left, down the line. This ball ends it.